Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Everyday Petrolhead. I'm your host Terrence Anderson and welcome to my channel. Now it's been a minute since I've posted a video, mainly because things have been kind of crazy at the office. It's the beginning of the school year, and that means all hands on deck, and we have to, obviously get a lot of things ready for the incoming students and returning students. So it's been kind of crazy, and I kind of had to put the car stuff on pause. Whew. On ramps, too much fun. So many things I like about that. There's going to be some changes to the channel. Mostly, it's going to be a little bit more about my overall life. At its core, it will still be a car channel. I still want that to be the heart of what this is. Because that is something that I have a massive love for. But at the same time, I've realized that, it's time for me to kind of make some maneuvers that would, I think, benefit the channel. So I kind of want to stop doing as many DIY videos. I still have a couple coming, but I want to talk to you more about life. Life as a person who loves cars, a person who loves drones. Like, you guys don't even know that I'm into that. I've been getting into that more and more, thanks to my people over at Larscope. Go check out their channel. I want to do a few more things, like talking about cars in the news, like things that are changing in the car culture and in, the community in general, as well as some more car reviews. So those are some of the things that I want to make some adjustments to. I also want to start talking a little bit more about health, because I think that's something that we don't address in this community that much. People in the car world don't really talk about their health much. And that's something that's been a big piece of my life, as it made massive changes in my life. You may not have known this, but at one point I weighed 350 pounds, and currently I am at about 225 pounds. I originally got down to 185 pounds in 2016, but I gained a lot of it back because I stopped doing some of the things that helped me with that change, as well as some of the stuff that the doctor did. I did have the surgery to help with it, but most of it was what I did. And I appreciate all of those things. And I think that's a journey that we need to talk about. That might be good for others to hear, because sometimes we forget that it's not impossible. You just have to make the change and stick to it. And I stuck to it mostly, and that's why I came back. So now I have to go back and commit to it fully yet again. The other thing I want to talk about is the issues that are left to deal with on this car. So let's see. Now, owning a BMW is not the cheapest endeavor. But at the same time, it's not much more pricey than anything else, provided you are willing to put the elbow work into it, elbow grease into it, and you can do the work. Like, I've taught myself how to work on this car. I've worked on pretty much every car I've ever owned. This is probably the one I've worked on the most, primarily because I didn't vet the car well, and previous owners didn't take very good care of her. So I'm doing all the care. And I've mitigated most of the issues, but now I still have a couple things left to do. So one of the things that's a problem right now is my self-leveling suspension is inactive. A lot of people in the BMW community are like, oh yeah, do the lock-to-lock thing. That works on the first generation pre-facelift E53 BMWs. That does not work on the post-facelift ones. Although it can affect it in some way. The computer does regular checks, and if the sensor is off, the sensor is just off, and it's not going to work. In my case, I thought it was a steering angle sensor. It ended up being one of the leveling sensors for the suspension. The front left one is damaged, and we're going to get to why it's damaged in just a moment. But the front left one is damaged, and I need to replace it. So until I do that, my suspension is not working. Luckily, I have software that I can use to raise the airbags just a little bit. It's telling it that the left one is all the way in the negative, and the other three are in the positive. But what's interesting is my height is not that high. So I think the computer's adjusting and thinking that the level for the rear is significantly higher because the front left one is all the way in the ground from a sensor standpoint. From a ride height standpoint, they're all the same because I adjusted myself by, I eyeball it and measure by inches to make sure the space, again, the gap is still there. And I top off the suspension every, week or two so that it doesn't sag. So overall, the car is fine. I just need to take care of that sensor, and that should resolve that matter. But I'm not going to deal with the sensor until the cause of why the sensor is the problem is the alternator bracket. So I found that the sensor was actually out of whack. It needed calibrating, so I used IMPA to actually adjust it. I didn't like the stance ride, and it became really stiff and hard and very uncomfortable overall. So once I recalibrated the sensor, the ride height went back to normal, and I was able to measure and check the levels, and now it sits much more comfortably. So thank you for software. Yes, the dreaded N62 alternator bracket. I need to deal with it. I've talked to a couple of mechanics who got some quotes. I'm not paying several $1,000s to put a $5 gasket in the car. I pretty much bought all the tools I need to do it. I have like one more thing I need to buy. And I'm probably going to take care of it in October, so I'm just going to deal with the oil leaks till October. There's just nothing I can do about that. So until then, I'm not going to buy a sensor to replace just for the oil to damage it again. That doesn't make sense. I also have a couple other DIYs that I'm going to take care of on the channel. I still have to do my wife's water pump on her 2009 Ford Explorer. The Explorer has been actually amazingly reliable. A lot of people dog those cars, but compared to this, I have 144,000 miles on it, and that car is sitting at 230,000 miles, and it's still going. I mean, we just started having issues with it now, and almost all of those issues are wear and tear items that were expected to fail sooner and haven't failed till now. So I'm really not upset with when it's happened. It's just unfortunate to have to take care of it. I top up her radiator with water every couple days just to make sure she's okay, and we're gonna go ahead and take care of that soon. And the pump is not that expensive. The pump's like about $90. I just really have to find a little bit of time to do it. It'll probably be next weekend, and I'll take care of it then. Of course, I'll film it because it's going to be a whole teardown process. Because unlike the BMW with their electric fans, there's a clutch on the fan connected to the pulley for the water pump, and that goes right through where I need to be. So I have to actually take all of that out just to get to it. So that's going to be a bit of a process. Plus, for some reason, it seems to be held on by looks like 12 or 15 bolts. I think that's crazy, but I can't be mad. It worked out for 230,000 miles, so I can't be mad at that. And of course, replacing the gasket for that. And lastly, after having a BMW for almost 3 years now, well, actually, it is 3 years, would I buy another BMW? Probably not. And I have to prefix that because I would buy an old BMW. I would buy an inline 6 BMW or a V8. I would buy another N62 in a heartbeat. I just kind of want to consider looking at some of the tuning options with the N54 motors. Although everybody beats the crap out of those motors, so I don't know. I might just stick with the V8s. But I don't think I would buy another newer BMW. I would buy an older one. Here, my reasoning for this is the love affair with plastic, and it's not something that's just a BMW problem. It's pretty much every manufacturer. BMW is just really bad at it, and they make everything out of plastic. This motor, the N62 4.4, is one of the last ones that actually had a metal intake manifold. It was a variable timing intake manifold, magnesium built, and it's all metal. So it adjusts on its own for various conditions. The good thing about that is it's more reliable because it's metal and it's sturdy. Whereas the newer ones are plastic. Even in this generation, the N52 motor, I think it is, 3.0 inline 6, that's not turbocharged, the intake was plastic. On the N54 motor, the intake manifold, I believe, was plastic. What a lot of guys end up doing is switching it out for the individual throttle body version that's all metal, which I think is an actual great idea, but hold on, I gotta pick up my daughter from school. I think it's not a bad idea, but my problem with that right now is that I don't necessarily want to deal with having to do a throttle body swap. I would much rather invest my time and energy into taking care of other factors of the equation. By that I mean, I would much rather invest in taking care of other things and more fun things than worrying about the plastics in the car. And my main reason for thinking like this is because we keep our cars for a very long time. So if you're gonna buy a car that has a lot of plastic issues, it's great to be the first owner with the warranty and everything covered and you don't have to worry about a single thing. But because I tend to keep my car for an extensively long time, and my wife even longer than I do, I don't think it's a wise idea for us to buy a car that we have to worry that some part may fail, and then it's going to be crazy expensive to buy a replacement part for it, which doesn't make any sense. So that's something we're trying to avoid. And there's a lot of plastic in the newer vehicles. That being said, I would love to buy an N63 motor, but mainly for the turbo factor and those features, but I don't believe that it comes with an option for a manual, and I kind of want a manual. So I'm looking at like a 5 Series or 3 Series, either inline 6 or the V8. No, not the M3, but like the other V8s, and I might go down those roads. So we'll see. But so for right now, I think that's the most I need to talk about in the updates I'll speak on. So there you have it. About to go pick up my daughter. Let's touch base soon, and join me next time on Everyday Petrolhead. Thanks.